Hi everyone, it's Grace
It's Larea.
and we are the Indigos, and today we're going to talk about solitude. Lorraine wanted to talk about this because Ray.
Well, basically, I just feel it's really important that we all take time to ourselves and in solitude. I was talking to a friend earlier, and I just realized how much self-love is involved when you get a chance to enjoy your own company. A lot of times, I feel like naturally we'll gravitate towards having people with us all the time. A lot of people can't even have clear thoughts because they're always in the position to entertain people. And solitude is important because I feel personally for me, I use that time to get clear answers to questions that I have. Sometimes I have to shut out the world, everything that's going on, just so that I can channel things that are pure. And that really does come from solitude. But to even get into that space, I had to be in a place where I loved myself enough to know that I can enjoy my own company and that being in crowds or with a lot of friends doesn't validate how important I am. And I feel like solitude, it can be very great for your growth because you get a chance to spend time with yourself and know who you are and really face yourself. A lot of people sometimes will have people around just so that they don't have to face themselves or they don't have to feel alone. And that's a whole like another path to be able to get to the place where you're like, you know what? It is beautiful to have my time and to even want that type of solitude. And
Mm.
I think I had read a quote. I think it was Paulo Neruda that said, "The moment that you find yourself, it'll be the happiest or saddest day of your life." And I think that came from solitude, where you got to a space where you know who you are because you have nothing else around to distract you from that. What about you,
Mm.
Grace? Like, do you spend time in solitude, or do you, you know?
Yeah, I do. I do a lot. I think that's where I find the most answers for myself. It's by spending time with myself to allow myself to feel all the things that I need to feel, and honor myself, that I'm valuable for that time to be spent nurturing myself and loving myself through that process. Because I think that with in this day and age, especially when there's like so many distractions, it's really hard to really find your way amongst everything. All the chaos is around you and the distractions. So being by myself a lot, solitude, allows me the freedom to explore the depths of myself and go into my subconscious mind and to really reflect on things. And I find that when I do spend time with myself, I'm able to have more clarity as well. So I can really think about things that I'm going through, reflect on them, work out why I'm feeling a certain way about a certain situation, or any questions that I might have for myself, or situations and experiences that I need to reflect on in order, but I need the space, because the space allows, that time allows you to like be able to reflect on yourself and to just sit with it, just to be sitting there. And even if you can't think of the answers, just sitting and allowing yourself the space will ultimately open up that channel for you.
You know what I feel like when I'm in that space for me? I feel like because, the way we work, how quick we are about everything that we do, we use the full 24 hours in a day. For me, I feel like because we're those type of energies, it's almost like running your cell phone and never turning it off. So when you have that solitude, it's like literally turning off your phone and rebooting it. Because I know when I'm in that space, that's what it is for me. It's rebooting my being, recharging it, starting over from scratch. And it feels that way when I take it because you're dealing with so many energies. When you come within yourself in your own home and you really just reset everything, I feel like a lot of the energies can't stay, the spiritual debris that tends to linger. You can start and center yourself. And that's what it feels like if you've ever like had your phone act really slow and be frazzled and then you turn it off and then all of a sudden it works again. That's
Yeah.
what that's kind of how
That's a
I see it.
good
Not that I
that's
want
a
to bring
good
compare.
that's a good
But
modern day analogy though of what it is to switch off and reboot and
so
recharge.
we're all cell
'Cause
phones. We're all cell phones,
yeah,
guys. That was
yeah.
that was
Well, there's
exactly.
there's the rebooting, which allows your phone to work better. And then there's a recharging as well, which is also just as important, obviously, because battery life dies and you also die out of energy. You know, you don't have enough energy, so you have to replenish that energy. And solitude does represent that for us human beings. It recharges us. It allows us to reboot, rethink, work better, you know,
Yeah.
in our headspace and also in our hearts as well. And you know, and it's hard because like we are so busy, like you and I, Ray. If everyone out there doesn't really know, we all have our own businesses and we are like, you know, hitting things hard. We're just like doing, like, we're not only doing this, we've got like all these other things that we're doing as well and handling everything and juggling many different balls. But the only way we can get better at it is by really learning how to be still, in being able to have the clarity without having to visually see everything. We can switch off and we feel everything. So that's our way of being able to do that. And that comes through, like Ray, I don't know about you, but for me, meditation is really, really great for me. Prayer has been really, really great for me. Gratitude, showing gratitude, or feeling gratitude has been a really great way for me to be able to be really in the space of solitude. That's my time, how I utilize that time. And even things like walks, like every night I go for a walk. I have a lake nearby here and I just walk around the lake. And sometimes I can do 1 lap, sometimes I can do 2 laps, depends on my time. But even that solitude, that walking by myself, no noise, no music, no sound other than just breathing in air, exhaling it. And sometimes I will just sit on the hill there and just kind of just be still.
Yeah, it's almost it's being present, you know?
Yeah.
Still, like you're referring to still, I know you mean to be present. And I think about that as simple as like sometimes for me it's going to grab a coffee and being by myself, where usually when you have someone with you, you're focused on entertaining that person or an exchange of conversation, but to be able to sit there and take things in. Another way I like to do center myself is fasting. For me, keeping my body clear, it makes it easier for my spirit to be aligned with it because I'm so hypersensitive when it comes to my body. Being indigo, like that is a number one thing. So for me, I have to align everything. And sometimes even when I go to Skid Row and things like that, I have to go without eating first, just drinking water and fasting so that I'm 100% clear. And
Mm.
obviously, there's so many different ways that you do it. Whether for you it's walking, for me it's that fasting prayer. For me, more than anything, I don't know what happens, but sometimes I just bust out in prayer. I will pray anything to death. Like I just pray.
Well, prayer is
I
such a beautiful thing because it allows intention. And when you have that time of solitude, when you have that time to yourself and you're
yeah.
concentrating on your words and your affirmations or your gratefulness or whatever it is, that usually that space allows everything else to align to the truth of what your, you know, your intention is during that solitude time. So if you're saying, you know, you want to have this time to yourself to be thankful for an experience that happened to you during the day, you know, that time is so valuable. That time of self, the time of solitude allows the clearness of that gratefulness to be expand and transcend into a deeper dimension. Whereas if there's, you know, and you can do this, you know, all the time, but, you know, even when you go to the toilet, that's a time of solitude, you know,
Yeah.
the bathroom, and that's the time of
Yeah.
solitude too, and you can utilize it to be useful for you. And it is just about, like, you know, how can you utilize that time to be solitude, to that time for self, to be still, to allow a greater presence, a transcending kind of space to occur. And that's for yourself. That's all part of looking after yourself.
Yeah, and I think that like what you said, it really starts with intention because once you get to a space where you're directing your focus on something, it naturally starts to occur to you. You just adapt it into your life, you know? It just starts with intentionally putting yourself in a place to be in solitude, quiet time, meditation. But it's so important, guys, because it really does affect you when it comes to self love. I realize a lot of people that I've spoken to that are on quest to get to self-love, appreciation, those type of things, one of the number one problems is they don't spend time with themselves. At least from my experiences, they haven't had a moment to really see who they are because they're too busy being superwoman, superman, doing all these other things, and
Mhm.
and you know, working on everything on the outer realm, but not working on internally what's going on so that
Mhm.
it can
Well, I mean,
translate
that's
to
the biggest
a
thing, isn't
future.
it? That's your biggest
Mhm.
thing is like your internal self. Like your internal
Absolutely.
self is the most preservations you have to do to work on yourself so that you can be ultimately your best around
Yeah.
everybody else and what it is that you want to do in this lifetime as well. If you're crowded with thoughts and too much distraction and all these social obligations and phone calls and all this stuff that you're crowded with on the outer, how are you going to really work out what is the beautiful sides of you that's inner, you know, and how are you going to like let that open up to you as well? Because during those times, you know, where you are by yourself, that stillness, it gives you the most clarity during those stages. So our advice is to take some time for yourself and
Love
allow.
on yourself. Sorry.
Say that
Go ahead.
again, Lorraine.
I was just saying, love on yourself. Like, it's okay to just have self love and appreciation for who you are and what you're working on, and not being so hard on yourself. You know, celebrate yourself as well. That's very important to pat yourself on the back. And no matter what, we might not always be where we want to be, but know that we're taking steps to get there. Celebrate the fact that you've taken initiative and you're
Mm.
working towards wherever you are. It's okay where you're at. As long as you recognize the next step that you want to get to be a better person, then you can't, don't put so much judgment on where you're at, but where you're going in the process within it. So that's love.
Yeah.
It's really love. And we practice that the
It
most.
is love, and that's the investment of like spending time by yourself in solitude is to really like, who am I and what gifts do I bring? And yes, I'm doing the right thing, or no, I could do this better, or you know, reflecting on your time being by yourself is really, really important. So take time for yourself, have some solitude time, whatever it is that you enjoy doing, or just being still, allowing yourself some breath, some space around you, even if it's for 5 minutes. And
Yeah,
you'll be like, you know, you'll think about it and you'll be like, oh yeah, this is a bit hard to do, but actually it's just a practice thing, and will start to become a natural course for you to just take and realize that that time is so valuable for you.
absolutely. I second that opinion.
All right, then. Well, we're going to be out of here. That wraps it up for today, and we'll do another video very, very soon. And lots
Thank
of
you guys. We love you. Bye.
bye.